Okay, take a left at the next road here.
A left, got it. We want to thank you for joining us this week for a special edition of TCR as we honor our military families.
But in typical TCR fashion, we do things a little differently than your standard thank you for your service.
And of course, you're invited to hop in and travel with us. I'm Bob Phillips.
And I'm Kelly Phillips. And this is Texas Country Reporter.
Dogs barking, tails tucked in nervous anticipation. Reminders for dog owners of that dreaded trip to the vet. Here at the Blue Pearl Clinic in San Antonio, Dr. Mike Moore does everything he can to make it a comfortable experience for patients and their people. But the scariest part for many of his clients isn't the exam room, it's the bill.
Being in a service town, I have a lot of young service people that are clients, and they come in with dogs. These kids don't make much money, so if they have a dog with extraordinary medical expenses, they can't afford it. Coming back and serving them.
Dr. Moore is used to seeing members of the military, but not long ago a unique case inspired him like none before. It was the first time he treated a soldier's dog without the soldier. Colton Rusk was killed in Afghanistan in 2010. His grieving parents, Daryl and Kathy, were now caring for his retired service dog, and Dr. Moore, a Vietnam veteran himself, was so moved by Colton's sacrifice that he offered to provide any surgery, shots, or checkups free of charge for the rest of Eli's life.
You know, Dr. Mike's he's passionate. He's very passionate about veterans. He has the biggest heart. Yeah. He knows what these dogs mean to veterans. And I can tell you, I mean, I'm not a veteran, but what he has done for us in our journey of grief is just amazing.
That kindness was just the beginning. Mike Moore started seeking out more veterans and their families who needed help. He found Sergeant William Cole, whose service dog Hank was going through a battle that William could not afford to fight.
I looked that veterinarian in the eyes and I just told him, I said, please, keep my dog alive, because this dog is keeping me alive. And I would have done whatever it took to pay those debts back. I mean, I definitely depended on Hank, and so I know there's other people just like myself and others that need that help as well.
Well, after helping two service dogs in entirely different situations, Dr. Mike Moore formed a plan to attack this problem on a larger scale. He created a lasting fund to help pay for the care of these special animals who care for our soldiers. Hank and Eli's Fund, named after the two dogs that inspired it all, opened 5 years ago. In that time, they've had a profound impact on dozens of military families.
And sometimes I think about Hank's injury, and I'm like, gosh, that was horrific. Like, why did that happen? And then I look at what has become, and I look at the relationships that have formed and the people that we have helped. And it's just one of those things where it makes perfect sense. Hank's injury was not in vain, right? I mean, some greater good came of it. So that's the special part about all of it.
What does Hank's and Eli's Fund mean to you?
Everything to me. So the most important thing in my life, and I understand that other people have that same bond. So I just want to make sure if someone comes to us and they need help, we'll be there to help.
Some veterans, like Jeff Kyle, struggle with post-traumatic stress and other issues after leaving war. They rely on their service dogs to get them through everyday life. His service dog, Lemon, needed an amputation, and Hank and Eli's fund stepped in, something for which Jeff and the others the fund has helped are forever grateful.
What these dogs do for us, I mean, they keep us alive. They really do. They're our battle buddies. You know, we had those when we were downrange, and when we come home, you don't always keep those guys close to you. Life happens, you kind of go your separate ways, but to have them right next to you 24/7, it's big, you know. And if I lost her, it'd be tough.
How's she adjusting to 3 legs?
She's doing great. She's phenomenal. She's just motoring along, doing good, chasing squirrels, chasing her ball, just being a dog.
It's stories like Colton's, Williams, and Jeff's that make everything worth it to Dr. Mike Moore. As they say, actions speak louder than words, and the fund is his way of saying thank you to his brothers and sisters in arms. And as long as there are more heroes and their 4-legged friends who need help, Hank and Eli's fund will be there to repay them for their sacrifices.
I mean, and to help some of these guys get to keep their service dogs longer and enhancing their lives is, being a veterinarian, it's a win-win for me. I get to help them, and then I get to help my heroes. I can't say it any better than that.
The sound of 11 bells rung on the 11th hour of the 11th day of the 11th month, a symbol of peace in celebration of the signing of the armistice that ended World War I. Today in Georgetown, people have gathered at a simple park to remember those who served.
It's not about the branch. It's not about, the skin color. It's not about where you're from, your faith walk. It's about the sacrifice and the families that sacrifice.
It's called the Field of Honor. More than 1,500 flags, each representing someone currently serving in the military or as a first responder. It's this town's humble way of saying thank you. Elise Harden does the same thing with her really old truck.
This
Tell
is
me
the
about it.
adult Hot Wheels of car shows. Tank is a 83 square body K10, East short wheelbase. They're apparently very hard to find now. So my father-in-law helped me on a rainy day that is about an hour and a half drive, and bought this old truck.
And now you've let people write all over it.
You can get in the back, and I have veterans only. I just ask that they sign their years and their branch to help others reunite and connect and see the legacies. See what it takes to get us where we are here, on the ground we stand. I want to thank you for your sacrifices. I know there are many, and I want to choke up. But if you would do the honor, if you wouldn't mind to sign my truck.
Elise travels to car shows and events all over the state, urging people to share their military background. Different ranks, different wars, different times served, all on the hood, bumper, and doors of Tank, her truck. Elise even has family members sign for others so they can be represented and remembered. But for some, signing can be harder than you'd ever imagine.
As they're writing, you can see their face. There's some of them, their face just takes them back. And then they have to stop. My father-in-law sitting over there on that trailer. He has yet to sign the truck either. He has a hard time. Because as soon as you write, I was in Vietnam, those flashbacks.
My brother was in Vietnam, and And in fact, this spring will be 50 years since he left Vietnam, and he wouldn't talk about it after he got back. And for the first time in the last year, he has started talking about, well, what happened in Vietnam. Just in the last year, he started opening up about it.
And that's not healthy, to hold in that in your spirit. It's kind of like an invisible virus. So I don't know why, but it's like when they share their stories, I said I'm kind of carrying some of that weight for them. And just a little bit of weight, just lift it off your back.
Most of the names written on Tank are people Elise Hardin will never know. But she stands with each and every soldier who has ever put on a uniform in service to the rest of us. And with every signature for a brother or, finally, a father-in-law. She is hoping they will know just how thankful we are for their gift.
Thank you.
Of freedom.
Even if the ones that never show to shows, or I never, personally get to see, they'll see the big thank you veterans on going down the road 80 miles an hour. No matter where I go, somebody will see a thank you veteran. Maybe a little elderly man driving on the freeway, he got thanked. He may have never received that. And that's just what I want, to let them know somebody out there. No small town cares. Wants those families to know it's gonna be okay. It's gonna be okay.
Hi, bud. Hi. Hi.
Push it in a little. Thank you. Y'all gonna have to move it in just a little bit. Come on, get up close and personal with each other. You can do it.
The room may be empty, but the stage is packed, and it's the only chance Paula Johnson will have to get a formal portrait made with her husband, Terry, and 20 military couples brought in from all over the country.
Good job.
And the home of the brave.
Before long, the arena is filled to capacity, and this huge banquet called Show of Support, now in its 16th year, is called The Order, honoring wounded American combat heroes. And it isn't long until the focus of this banquet shifts to the wives.
They're the most under-recognized, overburdened group of ladies in this country.
If you see their faces, it takes them a minute to realize he's talking about them. They're not used to being acknowledged.
And we want to give them a Midland welcome and say thank you for your sacrifice. Ladies, wives of our 20 heroes, would you stand, because you too are our heroes.
For them to get acknowledged just blows them away. It never fails. It always brings the house down. Standing ovation every time. But little do they know, the biggest surprises are yet to come.
All right, guys, get your bags, and we'll go down to the back here.
The morning after the Show of Support banquet, the men leave for a hunting trip 2 hours away.
The wives, I see so many different emotions in their face. Some of them are excited for their husband. Some of them are anxious about letting him go for the first time. They're not quite sure if anybody else can take as good a care of him as they do. But they send them off and they wave goodbye with a smile.
Send us pictures.
Once the guys are gone, the women belong to us and the fun begins.
Okay, we out of here?
Headed by Paula Johnson and her tireless band of volunteers, it's the largest combat wives appreciation effort of its kind in the world. For 2 full days, the city of Midland steps aside to let these women roll into stores, restaurants, and even private homes.
They don't know what the schedule is. We load them in cars. They have no clue where our next destination is. We wake up the next morning, we are off again. It doesn't stop. It just keeps on going.
Kind of a girl's dream come true.
They learn to laugh. They learn to hug each other and let each other see them cry. We do this so that they break down the walls they've built to protect themselves from the pain they felt when their hero comes home. Each guy, before he arrived in Midland, has written a love letter to his wife. And I know this wife is going to melt when she reads the letter that her husband wrote for her.
Jennifer, first off, I would like to tell you that I'm missing you a bunch right now. I know I've told you many times that you were the only reason I'm alive.
I just want to start off by saying thank you. Thank you for being there for me. I know that I'm not the same person that I used to be.
Sharing thoughts like that heals them because they realize they're not alone.
Sorry.
They have been forgotten because we focus on the face of the hero. We see the man going off to war. These women are the silent heroines. They are the silent rank. They are the ones that stay at home. They make it possible for their warrior to go to war.
I hope this trip is good for you and you see how special you are.
It might not be poetry or eloquent verses, but in this room, on this night, heartwarming, genuine expressions of love are falling on the ears and touching the souls of so many gathered here.
I thought after being injured and making it home, I was fine and my life would go on as normal. I didn't know that our normal would never be the same again.
The things we do, you're not going to find in a therapy handbook anywhere. It's just magic.
I love you in my soul, your husband, Mark.
Thank you for everything that you do for me. I love you, Krista, and I do need you.
You could look around the room and you can see that there had been some healing take place in that room that night. It has been a wonderful 2 days. We have gone until they think they can't go anymore. But little do they know, we have the most wonderful thing planned for the next day. Okay, is this it? Everybody down? I think so. Okay, we're coming this way. They have been buzzing all the way down in the elevators. Where are we going? For the past year, we have been gathering donations from all the boutiques in Midland, from shoes, dresses, purses, jewelry, accessories. We have a team of ladies who have been putting that boutique together. Open the doors, girls.
Let's go!
They jump right in there looking at things and helping their friends pick out things that would be wonderful on them. They try things on. They think how their husband will react when he sees them in that.
I don't even think I have words to describe how this weekend's been, honestly. I'm gonna cry.
If you don't want it long, have it be short.
So what shoes are you going to wear? Did you?
I have ankle boots. It's overwhelming knowing that a whole town cares so much. I want to live here.
Every time one of these ladies steps out of the fitting room and you're there, what do you want them to know?
We want them to know that they are the most beautiful thing on the face of the earth because they're so busy tending to their hero, or they're so busy tending to their children and everyday life, they forget to tend to themselves. So they put on that pretty dress, they see the girl they used to be, and they see the woman they've become. Find something pretty to wear to meet that man when he gets off the bus. As they're shopping, Terry's getting everybody loaded up on the bus, and they are on their way back home to Midland. The guys come home feeling the same change that these wives do. They're strong, they're empowered. They're not just a patient. They're not just that man who has, his wife says, take your pills, or we've got a doctor visit. They've been being the men that they were raised to be, and they come home a different man, ready to see that pretty girl. I love seeing them run to their husband and hold him and kiss him. I love seeing his face when he sees her.
For the last 3 days, these combat heroes have been doing the man thing, out on a hunting trip 100 miles away with Paula's husband Terry. This reunion is what everyone seems to look forward to.
When I see Terry, I know that we worked hard all year, and we're looking at the couples as they reunite. And I look at him and I think, job well done. We did it.
It seems in West Texas, patriotism and compassion have been elevated to a new level, and they do it every year. Neither Paula or Terry ever served in the military, but after 16 years, Show of Support has evolved into a life-changing event, a most unlikely expression of gratitude from a grateful nation.
It gives us a glimpse into the life that we can only imagine how hard it can be. They live it every day. They're the strongest women that I have ever met in my life. These women are what makes America strong.
I want to thank you for traveling along with us.
Next week, we'll take you to one of the best barbecue joints in the state, and this one has a sweet twist.
We'll see how Amarillo fits into the history of air and space.
And we'll tell you the mystery of a World War I veteran who got off a train in a Texas town. I'm Kelly Phillips.
And I'm Bob Phillips, and this is Texas Country Reporter.
See you next time.
Promotional consideration and travel arrangements provided by Valero, the all-American gasoline, all across America. Closed captioning provided by H-E-B Primo Picks, thousands of unique one-of-a-kind products picked especially for you. TCR is brought to you by Capital Farm Credit. Together we're better. Mueller Incorporated. Metal roofs, metal buildings, ironclad guarantees. Hoheim Prairie Insurance. Texans serving Texans since 1892. And top Texas towns Abilene, Hillsboro, Del Rio, Waxahachie, and San Angelo.